In the previous talk, I explained that we would need to create two tables, one for the list of tags themselves, and one which would form effectively a junction between the list of tags and the list of papers. Okay, so let's go through that in order. Let's first of all create our new tag table. So if you click on the Create tag of Access, click on Table. Okay, as per usual, it gives you this interface. As I say, I much prefer just going straight away, right-clicking on the table one that's created, click on Design View, give the new name. So we're going to call this table Tags. Okay, and that will immediately take us into the Design View where we can design the table. And we're going to make this extremely simple. I'm just going to have one field which is going to be the ID, and another field which is going to be the thing called tag, and that's going to be a field of type text. Okay, so we're going to have it's up to 255 characters. That's obviously way too much, but I don't see any point in reducing it at this moment. So let's just put that down there. So there we created our tags table. Okay, now the next thing is I'm going to click on the close button, which will actually save that. Okay, so I've done that. Now I'm going to create the new table, which is going to be the junction of tags and paper. Okay, and papers. So let's click on Table again. It creates this table one. Right click, choose Design View, and let's call this something like Junk Tag Papers. Okay, that makes it very clear what we're doing. Okay. Now then, as in the previous example, I'm going to use the lookup wizard to create our relationships. There are many ways of doing it in Access, and probably this is in some ways a slightly clumsy way, but I think for people who are new to databases, this is maybe the most easily comprehensible way. Okay, so the way I would do it then, so let's create a field here which is going to be a link into the tags table. So I'm going to put something like, for example, tags underscore fk underscore id. So meaning it's a foreign key relating to the ID of the tags table, of an item in the tags table. So again, data type. I personally, there are a number of ways of doing this. You could go into the relationships table and actually draw a relationship between the two tables. I like to use a lookup wizard because it will actually make it easier to add in our first amounts of data, okay, in Access. So I'm going to use the lookup wizard rather than actually going into the relationships in window. So click on lookup wizard. Okay, so I want the lookup column to look up values in a table or query. What this does is create a relationship between these two tables, and allows us also to introduce data into the system quite easily. So choose tags. Okay, so I'm going to link in now into the tags table. Okay, now I'm going to choose that when I'm actually looking at this table, what I'm going to see is the actual tag field, even though it's actually in reality the ID field is what I'm setting. Okay, and then I click next and next again, and there's nothing in the table at the moment, so you won't see anything at this point. Do not say allow multiple values at this moment, because otherwise that will make things a little more complicated. Okay, and just click finish. Okay, and it says the table must be saved for relationships being created. Save now. Say yes. Okay, and that just says number. By virtue of using the lookup field, what in reality will happen is that inside that field there'll be just a link, a number relating to the primary key of the tags field for which this tag will appear. But when we actually open this table inside Access, we will actually see the actual data inside the tags field rather than a reference to the primary key. This will become clearer when we actually see it. So now let's do the next thing. Let's say something like this: papers underscore fk underscore id. Okay, and here again it's going to use the lookup wizard. Okay, and when I use the lookup wizard, I say I'm going to look at papers. What I want to see there maybe is just the title. So when I'm inputting data, this is inputting data in Access, not inside the website, by the way. What we're doing is creating a convenience way of inputting data inside Access at the moment. So I click next, again next, and you'll see there, because there is already data inside the papers table, this is the list of possible values that I will be able to choose when associating tags and papers together. So click next, papers FKID, say finish. Okay, save now, it says yes. So as you see, what I've got here now, so I've created a table, the junk tags papers table. I've created two fields in it, tops foreign key ID, papers foreign key ID. They both say number. Okay, they both say that that's a number, and it is. But when I close the design view down and then I just double click on junk tag paper table and actually see it, you'll see that whenever I click on those fields, I don't get a number, but I get a drop down of all the possible values in that particular field. This means this actually makes it very easy for us to actually do associations of data, even though what in reality is getting saved to that table are numbers, i.e. references to the primary keys of the records that we've selected in those tables. But by using the lookup wizard, it means Access can make it easier for us to actually select values based on their actual literal meaning rather than on their primary key IDs, okay, which is what is actually being saved inside these tables. So let's go into the tags table and let's actually add some tags. Let's create some tags, like for example, ubiquity. And we'll say another one is multimodality, and if that's another one we'll say is study, because there are a few papers relating to ubiquitous computing on campus or something like that. I mean, I could say Weezer, but that's too obvious. Okay, so now I've added three values into my tag field, okay, inside the tags table. So let's just close down that tags table again now. But now I'm going to go back to junk tags papers. Now I've got, if I close that down and reopen it, I think, now I go to junk tags paper, what I should see is a list of possible values, okay, for tags foreign key ID, and I should see also a list of possible of a paper title. So if I just stretch that title there, you see there. So I know the computer of the 21st century basically is about ubiquitous computing, so I'm going to choose that. Okay. Ubiquitous computing on campus is about ubiquity as well, but it's also about study. Okay. And the human experience of ubiquitous computing, that is also about ubiquitous computing, and I think it may be just might mention multimodality, so the human experience, and I'll choose multimodality for that. That is what you see in this table, but if I were to do an SQL statement on that table and just showed the content of that table, what I would actually see would not be those words, because this is a convenience thing that Access has allowed us to do. What I would actually see is number. So as I say, I mean, though when we look at this inside Access, we actually see the actual things inside the two connected tables. We see the ubiquity coming from the tags table, and we see the computer for the 21st century coming from the papers table. That is not what is actually being stored inside that table. This is just a little convenience method whereby Access allows us to see the contents of the things being linked. If we were, for example, if we close this down, if I were to kind of right click on it and choose export, and I choose text file, okay, if I want to just take whatever is in this table and turn it into a text file, and I click on that, Word says where do you want to save it, so there it says it gives me the option, but then it'll show me what's actually in my table. Okay, now if you see there, what you see is 111 212. The first number is the primary key inside the junk tag papers table. So that's the first record of the junk tag papers table. That's the second record. That's the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Okay. The next one is the reference to the record in the tags table, and the third one is a reference to the record in the papers table. So what it is suggesting here is that in the first record, the first, if you like, junction between these two tables, in the first record, the first record of the papers table should be related to the first record in the tags table. Okay, and there's also an association here in the fourth record. The first record of the tags table relates to the fifth record of the papers table. Okay, so let's just check if that's true. Let's remember that the two first records are associated, and the first record of the tags table is related to the fifth record of the papers table. So let's just cancel that for a second. So here's the papers table, and the first record is Mark Weiser, as you see here, Mark Weiser, the computer for the 21st century. Okay, and in the tags table, we should see, if I open that, you see the first tag is Ubiquity. Okay, so, and it is saying that this tag, number 1, is related to number 1 in the papers table, which is definitely true. Okay, it is also saying that the first tag is related to the number 5. We say the fifth record. I got that wrong. It's the record with the ID 5. If we again, let me just click on here again, and I choose export text. Okay, and I click OK, and you see here that the fourth record here means the first record of the tag table is related to record with the or if you like, the record with the ID 1 in the tag table is related to the record with the ID 5 in the papers table. So if I now close that down again, I can see that here's the tag 5, the human experience, and if I click on tags, it should be related to Ubiquity, which it is. Okay, so what you're actually seeing there, by using those kind of lookup wizard, what we actually see when we click on a junk tags table is this, but what the actual database actually contains rather is this. Okay, that's what it has. Okay, so again, what we've got is then a nice relational database, nice relational structure. Through this, we're associating tags and papers.